All right, y'all, you are looking at Hurricane Idalia. This recording right now, it is 8:26 p.m. Idalia is a Category 2 hurricane with sustained winds of 105 miles an hour. Look at this, really getting organized, getting its act together. Once it gets up to sustained winds of 111, it will be a Category 3. It is expected to become a Category 3 before making landfall somewhere along the Nature Coast Big Bend region. Look at this outer band here that's starting to move into our area. So we are watching as this slowly lifts up to the north and closer to our area. Again, it is a good looking storm right now. Unfortunately, this just means that it's really strengthening, really getting its act together. So getting in a bit closer now too. Let's restart this here. A little bit of technical issues behind the scenes, not a big deal. Here we go. Now our clicker is working. So this band here starting to lift into our area. Let's see. Tim Deegan, Chief Meteorologist Tim Deegan, behind the scenes with me. We are live right now, and Tim, I can't get these clickers to work. If you wouldn't mind helping me out.
All right, let's see if we can do it. So are you on 1 or 2?
We are on 2.
Okay.
Make sure graphics change over. Did you do that or did I do that?
I'm not touching. You working?
I'm working.
Bravo.
All righty, let's get back to it.
This is live TV.
This is live TV. We love it. Okay, so let's get back to it though. So we do have Hurricane Idalia. We have winds of 105 miles an hour. It's moving to the north at 16 miles an hour. Pressure continues to drop right now at 965. So it is expected to strengthen into a Category 3 hurricane overnight tonight at 2 a.m. Winds could be up to 115 miles an hour. And then it will make landfall again somewhere along the Big Bend region, the Nature Coast. And from there, pass over or close to our area. Look how it is expected to stay at hurricane strength, Category 1 hurricane strength with winds of around 85 miles an hour. That's the forecast for tomorrow at 2 o'clock when it's well inland, well over our area. So this was something new as of this evening. Now parts of Georgia, coastal Georgia, under a hurricane watch now. And that does mean that hurricane strength winds are possible there. So let's talk about the winds. Let's break it down. Right now, we have the possibility of tropical storm force winds moving into the Tampa Bay area right about now. And then eventually this will move towards the Nature Coast Big Bend. Places like Steinhatchee likely going to see the damaging wind, even hurricane force winds moving on shore. Of course, very strong winds with a Category 3 hurricane, perhaps sustained winds around or above 115 miles an hour. From there, it's going to continue to move inland. And look at that, heads up to those of you in the Waycross area. We could see strong Category 1 hurricane force winds. That's possible into South Georgia, southern Georgia. So that's also possible for those of you in the Lake City area. Look how far the tropical storm force winds extend to. That does cover our entire area. So everyone expecting at least tropical storm force wind gusts, or winds, excuse me, and that will arrive around 2 a.m. this morning to the Nature Coast, and then it will continue to move over our area, crossing the Lake City area. It's around, say, early, could start as early as 4 a.m., continuing through the morning, moving into coastal Florida right around 8 a.m., the Atlantic coast of Florida, and then up into our Georgia counties as well after 8 a.m. Something we're going to watch for along the Atlantic coast, surge. So, of course, all eyes are on the Nature Coast where they could have surge up to 15 feet. Devastating surge. Lives will change along the Nature Coast and the Big Bend region. Now for us, thank goodness, not as bad at all, but we could see surge up to 3 feet along the Northeast Florida coast, and then for Georgia, up to 4 feet of surge is possible. So let's break it down here. Glenn, Camden, Nassau counties. We could see gusts up to 70 miles an hour, 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, but we are watching that surge again, 2 to 4 feet possible. And your high tides, Brunswick, 8:37 a.m., St. Mary's, 9:07 a.m., Fernandina, 9:06 a.m. For the rest of our area, places like downtown Jax will see high tide right around 9:56 a.m. tomorrow morning. Jacksonville Beach at 7:54 a.m., St. Augustine at 8:25 a.m. But back to the counties, let's go inland Georgia. So where? Brantley, Gusts up to 75 miles an hour. Isolated tornadoes possible, 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Columbia, Baker, Bradford, Union, you all will potentially see that Category 1 wind and gusts up to 90 miles an hour, especially over Columbia County. Roof and tree damage possible. In fact, likely with the power outages. We're really concerned about those strong winds and all the trees over in that part of Florida. 4 to 6 inches of rainfall possible. Duval County, gusts to 65, power outages, isolated tornadoes possible, 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. For Clay and Putnam, gusts to 70, 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. Expect power outages possible across our entire area. So that does also include places like St. John's, where we'll see gusts to 60 miles an hour. We could see perhaps up to 1.5 inches of rainfall. Luckily, this system is moving quickly, so it's not going to dump too much rain because it will likely get out of here. However, we have been watching places, say in Georgia today, where you've already seen a lot of rainfall and more on the way. So the 3 big things that we're going to focus on. Our highest winds for the metro area will be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and we will see Category 1 winds as far inland as South Georgia. So we'll be expecting some power outages, isolated tornadoes also possible in the metro area. But as mentioned, places like Lake City, that's our greatest concern. And we're actually going to be joined now by Jessica Clark, who's out there live for us. And Jess, you've been out there all day, and we really are concerned about the wind and all the trees out there. Are people preparing properly for that?
Well, it's hard to tell. You know, I mean, we just saw some rain just in the last 2 minutes or so, and now it's gone. And it was just the faintest of a sprinkle. And so it's hard to tell because we have been through the downtown area, and some people have sandbags around their businesses. We've driven around some neighborhoods. We haven't seen any homes boarded up or anything like that. We were by a sandbagging location where people can come and fill up their own sandbags. Now that spot, a particular location in Lake City, was busy. Lots of people around every one of those, I guess, 3 or 4 mounds of sand working to fill those sandbags. And I asked several of them, I assume you're doing this because you're concerned about flooding where you live. And all of them said, oh, yeah, where we live, it's flooded in the past, or it has almost flooded, or we're new to the area and we don't want to take any chances. So certainly parts of this area have seen impacts from other storms, but so many people I've talked to today here in Lake City and Columbia County are saying, this one's a little different. This one seems much more serious. This one's bigger and could affect us more than what we've seen in decades. Some people have referred to Debbie from, I think, 2004, early 2000s, and said that did bring a lot of flooding to certain parts of Lake City. But when you ask about the wind, we haven't really seen any places boarded up. And the wind here has been so calm. It's been such a pretty, granted, hot day in Lake City and Columbia County, but hardly any wind. And then maybe about, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes ago, we realized, oh, the palm fronds are moving, but just barely. I mean, just enough for us to realize, okay, the wind's picking up a little bit. I mean, this is definitely so calm and so different from what we foresee coming in just a few hours. So it's hard to say if, you asked me the question, are people properly getting ready? It's hard to tell because we just haven't seen a whole lot of boarded up windows like you usually do around the coast. Remember, this is an inland county in Florida, and so it's so different from what we've been seeing with like Cedar Key, what we've seen with Jack's Beach, St. Augustine with previous storms. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
That is really interesting. I love how you said people who haven't been there before or been through a hurricane, at least they're preparing. I'm glad to know that everyone is preparing for the rain and the possible flooding that that might bring. The good news is it is a fast-moving storm, so yeah, we really actually do expect the impacts more from the wind than the rain. At least people are preparing for that.
So you know what, Lee, I was telling you about the people I've talked to, the folks who live here. Now, the folks who are also overseeing emergency services are telling me something different as far as getting ready. And gosh, it was the Columbia County Fire Chief and also another officer in the Columbia County Fire Department. And they were saying, we have so many trees around here that we're really concerned about so many trees falling, whether it be on houses or power lines or whatever it is. One of them said, we have a thunderstorm, and because we have so many trees, inevitably we have a tree fall down and we got to go pick it up or get rid of it or cut it up or whatever it may be, and make sure that people are safe wherever that tree fell. And they were telling me now we see this storm coming with tremendous wind power. And so they're really preparing their team and staff to be ready to cut down the limbs that fall or the trees that fall and get them off the roadways, off of houses, off of power lines, whatever it may be. But you know what we have seen all over Lake City? Power trucks, electric vehicles, electric trucks, to put power in place again and work on the power lines. And we just saw about, 6 or 7 big trucks pull into this parking lot where we are. We're by some restaurants and hotels, and they're looking for places to stay all over Columbia County. The guy I talked to, his crew was from Arkansas. And the governor today said we've got people coming in from Nebraska just to be on standby because they know the trees will fall in this area because there are a lot of trees in this inner part of north central Florida. And they are going to be hopefully able to restore power quickly. That's what we're hoping for. We're saying thank you to the linemen when we see them.
I am so glad, though, to know that at least the people of Lake City are in good hands, it seems, with the fire department there, the power crews coming into town to also take care of them, because that is what Chief Meteorologist Tim Deegan and I have been talking about. We're so concerned about those trees falling. I can only hope that people there at least are watching, if they haven't boarded up yet, to maybe move your car that would be out of the way of any falling trees. And I know it's hard to find spots away from trees there too, but it does make me feel better, at least, that there are power crews coming in. Sure. and people are getting ready. Now, it's 8:38 p.m. right now. Are people still out and about preparing right now? What are you seeing out there now that we're entering these late evening hours?
Yeah. We have not seen a lot of people preparing. I mean, that's just across the board. We have not seen a lot of people preparing like we do usually on the coastline, and that's really from my experience of covering storms. It's been along the coastline. So covering a storm in the inner part of Florida is pretty different for me. We have not seen a lot of people, and I've asked even, folks at the police department, is this usual? And he said, we have seen so many storms. This is one of the police officers. We have seen so many big storms come and hit Florida, but by the time they get to us in Lake City, they've dissipated. And so it's not a lot of action, and we don't have a whole lot of impact like what you see along the coastline. And the police officer was telling me, we at the station are feeling like this is going to be a big one. People need to get ready. But the general consensus in the community is, well, we haven't really been hurt that badly in the past, and this might not be so bad either. We'll see how that plays out.
Right, Jess, thank you so much. I will let you go. I know you're going to be back at 11 o'clock bringing viewers the latest too. And thank you for bringing that point up, because before I let all you go who are streaming this live coverage, I am going to leave you with this, because this will likely be one of the worst storms that places like Columbia County have seen. It could potentially be that, because we could see gusts up to 90 miles an hour there in places like Lake City. So please continue to prepare, be safe. Remember now, though, those bans are already starting to wrap in, so preparations should be completed ASAP, immediately. And we will be back at 11 o'clock live to bring you the latest update. We do have another update from the National Hurricane Center and the latest on the forecast cone and the forecast track and intensity coming up at 11 o'clock.